understand advanced representation of formalization research and search techniques. Okay, so this particular thing, search techniques, is a very important thing, important topic, and that topic we'll be actually learning early in our syllabus. So these objectives generally are laid down in a sequential manner, but in this case they are not laid down in a sequential manner. The search techniques is a word and a search technique. So you have learned search techniques, IT as well as computer students, related to your data structures subject, data structures and algorithms for for IT engineering, and data structure and analysis of algorithm. ये दो सब्जेक्ट या तीन सब्जेक्ट जो है, इसमें आप लोगों ने बहुत सारे सर्च टेक्निक सीखे हैं. Okay, those search techniques are different, and this word search technique is different. So what does this word search techniques refers to? So what we do in AI is we try to solve certain problem. Okay, to solve that problem, we represent a definition of the problem in a formal way, and that is what the formalization means. So when early development in AI was occurring, when there were no other fields than AI, people used to call AI since, I guess, 1960s. So from that period of time, people started to identify certain tasks that human beings cherish to do, like some puzzles or some games, okay, wherein there might not be complete intelligence required. So these are not cognitive tasks that we talk about nowadays, which these other fields like deep learning, machine learning, data science, they focus on. But there are certain things which are challenging to human beings. That is, some of the human beings are good at solving them, some of not so good, and some of are actually bad at solving them. So human intelligence were per se attributed to ability of human beings to solve certain kinds of puzzles or certain kinds of tasks. Okay, so these tasks, in order to actually understand humans intelligence, what people did was they actually organized some formal representations, and they call them as puzzles. Now these puzzles, they were given to human beings and their performance were judged. A. Second thing, when they are given to human beings, people actually understood or tried to understand how a human being tries to solve this or tries to attempt it for solving. Okay, if he is an expert, he'll be able to solve the task. If he is not an expert, he will not be able to solve the task. But underlying the study, I would understand how a person approaches a solution to a problem. Based on these studies, what people developed was a formal representation of such problems. Okay, so they actually evolved a theory called as state space representation. They evolved a theory called as state space representation. So what they did was, if I want to actually solve a problem, okay, I can represent that problem using certain attributes. These attributes are state of the problem. The problem will be having one state at the beginning. As you try solving the problem, the state of the problem you keep on changing until you get the problem into a state which you may refer to as a goal state. So this is what this particular theory thinks of any problem. So the search techniques now that we are going to study will do what is, they will actually try to find a path, okay, in this space of different states, from a state where the problem begins and from a state to a state where the problem reaches its termination or ultimate goal, as they call it as. So the details of this we'll learn in chapter number 2. But here you need to understand that when there were people wanting to understand human intelligence and try to mimic human intelligence into computer programs, their first approach was to try and understand human intelligence. Without understanding what is human intelligence, or without actually articulating what contributes to a human intelligence, it was not possible for people to actually come up with programs that are intelligent. So ultimately, what we wanted programs, or we wanted appliances which are intelligently behaving, okay, or which are mimicking the human thought process, are intelligent in it. Okay, So search techniques are the techniques that involve when you represent a AI problem. So there are these problems that I referred to as, these puzzles that I referred to as, they are called as AI problems. Okay, they are not issues, or they're not like lacunae or limitations of AI. They are problems in AI. They are problems given to identify, or they are the problems. If a program can solve that problem, he shows a level of intelligence up to a certain degree. Okay, so if a program is, suppose he is able to solve or play a chess game, okay, in 1990s we would say that program is a AI program for us at that particular time. But today, if somebody tells you that, okay, I have written a code that solves or that plays chess, then we'll say that, okay, that has been done already. Kuch naya bolo. Tell me a car that can drive in a particular street of Mumbai without being handled by any driver. So talk about an autonomous car. So as the field progresses, the questions that are posed in front of us as what is AI, or what is intelligence, or what level of intelligence we seek in a particular product or an appliance or a software, these questions change. Okay, these questions actually try to progress the field of AI. But what we are going to learn in our syllabus mostly, okay, is what people started at. Okay, so this subject of AI for computer science, computer engineering, is solely concentrating on this classical AI. I should not call it classical AI, but that's the way people approach it. So it is the classical way of approaching the AI or understanding what is AI. Okay, here in this subject you will not find things like machine learning. You will not, or we will rarely find things like machine learning, rarely find things like data science, rarely find things like deep learning in this syllabus. Okay, does that mean the syllabus is outdated? No, this is not outdated. Ulta, this is more focused one. This is more focused on understanding one important aspect of development of AI systems. Okay, so we start with, so if you compare this syllabus with IT syllabus, IT syllabus actually is very complex. Okay, and it's a difficult thing to even teach and learn both. Okay, but since the approach of IT is like that to technology, and it's more so an application level approach, that is why they are just getting introduced to these ideas, whereas computer students are getting more in-depth understanding, or we are trying to actually give more in-depth understanding of the base fields. Okay, so this AI that we are going to learn in 6 modules of computer engineering syllabus, this involves understanding what is an intelligence. What do you mean by artificial intelligence? Just going through the historical perspective of intelligence, then understanding what do you mean by intelligence systems. Okay, what are different categorization of intelligence system? What are components of an AI program? If I have an AI application or AI program, then what would be the components? What would make a program called as an AI program? Okay, then what are the different foundations of AI, sub areas of AI, applications of AI, and the current trends in AI? Okay, all this you will find in any textbook that you refer to, be it a local author textbook or be it the textbook that I shared, AI AI, a modern approach. Okay, so you refer to any textbook, you will find answers to these questions pretty natural. So this is a very routine chapter, this first chapter, that tries to understand from the historical perspective what is really artificial intelligence means. It also deals with understanding what do you mean by intelligence. Is human intelligence the intelligence, or there is something more or something better than human intelligence? Okay, then when do I call a system as intelligent system? Because you have learned a lot of, you have developed a lot of system till now. You have developed management information system. You have looked at data warehouse, data mining things. So data warehouse is also a kind of system that helps people at managerial level to take decisions. So then what is intelligent system? What do you mean by an expert system? So there's also a topic here that deals with, or that talks about what do you mean by expert system. So simply put into terms, an expert system, as it was used to call earlier, is a system that tries to replace any human expert, okay, that takes a decision. Any human expert that takes a decision, if I'm trying to replace that human expert with an artificially cultivated or artificially curated program, software, or an appliance, then that particular thing is called as an expert system. Okay. For example, if I go to doctor for my psychological analysis, he has to be a psychiatrist. Okay. If I have some sort of say, suppose I'm a female and I have some sort of problem related to my physical things, I need to visit a gynecologist. Say suppose I am a company and I want to file my return, income tax return, then I have to visit a chartered accountant. So all these people that I'm talking about, or maybe I'm a company and I in a legal soup right now, then I need to contact a lawyer. So all these professionals, the lawyer, the gynecologist, the psychiatrist, and all these, they are expert in their domains. They are not just human beings, but they are human beings who are expertise in a particular subject domain. So they are limited scope. They have a limited scope. So AI also, or AI system that we develop also, can actually called as strong and weak AI. So if an AI system that I have developed it is applicable into a very narrow area of expertise or narrow area of intelligent behavior or intelligent thinking, then that will be referred to as a narrow AI. Okay, sorry, not narrow AI, that will be referred to as weak AI. Whereas I develop an AI which is applicable to various different disciplines simultaneously. See, just think about it, an AI that can solve medical problems, legal problems, and financial problems. Okay, who would think such AI would exist? Mostly, very less people will believe that such AI would exist. But I can have an expert in all these 3 4 fields if he keeps on studying till his age 40. People are there. So there were certain people in even Maharashtra. If you have heard, I don't remember his name, uh, but that person actually had 31 different postgraduate degrees till his age of 40. So if he has 31, 32 degrees of different disciplines, by the way, not just one discipline. Okay, Shrikant Jiska. So my mother is telling me the name of that person. Okay, unfortunately, that person is no more. But that person was an expert in all these fields. So he could be an intelligent person who is able to do or show his intelligence in various disciplines, or his expertise, I should say, in various disciplines. Similarly, if I develop an AI system that is applicable to all such disciplines, that would be called as a strong AI. Okay, so people will, you will see when you do search on AI and try and identify what are different types of AI, so, or you just use YouTube for understanding this particular term AI. Okay, the videos now and then after 2 3 minutes will start talking about AI which are strong and which are weak. So the weak AI is not actually a weak thing. Okay, but it is a more narrower application of AI application to a certain domain only, or certain expertise only, or it is concentrated to build an AI that has an intelligence, but has an intelligence in one domain. Many of us know that there are people who are expert in particular field, but they are totally very ordinary in other fields. So does that mean they are not intelligent? They are intelligent, but their intelligence is based on a particular ability that they show, or particular skill set that they show. Okay, so such people, you can call them having a narrow AI. They are not AI, by the way. They are not artificial. They are physical beings or human beings. But then I guess I might have made my point clear. What do you mean by a strong AI and weak AI? Okay, you will ask me why I am not showing any slides and not talking about these things continuously. The reason behind that, these things are kind of self-learning, and this you need to understand by looking at various examples, reading stuff, and that will make you understand things in a better manner. Okay, so I will be showing you some slides at some point in time in the lecture, but not at this moment. At this moment I'm just telling you what you are supposed to learn in that particular bit of the syllabus, and whether that is important with respect to your final examination. So if you go and look at this 1.1, that is introduction to artificial intelligence, I never understand these computer engineering syllabus. We start with module 1 and they say 1.1, whereas there's only one point in that particular field. Okay, let it be. uh, but nevertheless, introduction just gives you the definition of AI. which will come in handy in your oral examination, which will also come in handy maybe in some theory questions of 5 marks, if there are any 5 marks questions are there in your theory paper. Then history of artificial intelligence. Nobody is going to keep any question on this particular part. It is interesting. It is very good to know how these current state of the AI that we talk about, they have evolved. Okay, when people start actually having intelligent tools और इंटेलिजेंट टेक्निक्स डेवलप, कौन से टेक्निक्स पे लोग काम कर रहे थे और आज कौन से टेक्निक्स पे काम कर रहे हैं, आज ये फील्ड कितना वाइडली एप्लीकेबल हुआ है, और आज एआई के कौन से एस्पेक्ट पे ज्यादा फोकस है. Okay, I have already told you these things very in a very terse manner. Okay, but I would want you to go look into the book, read it. It is not more than 3 or 4 or 5 pages in the book. Some books it is 10 or 12 pages, but it is interesting to read. Okay, and you need to remember it. Nobody is going to ask you question anything on this particular history of artificial intelligence. Okay, nobody, sorry, but they won't